Okay, so we're at Nordstrom, Santa Monica, and this is pretty much where it all got started. I feel like to this day, people are like, wait, makeup is taking you to Dubai, to London, to Japan, to Mexico City. I feel like I've almost flown all over the world because of makeup. So this is my palette. I just recently collaborated with TARTE Cosmetics to create a contour kit. People ask me every day. Every day I get messages on Snapchat, on Twitter, and people are like, how do I do it? And I'm like, you have to be consistent. So a lot of you guys don't know this, but I'm actually from the Bay Area. Yay, area! And I grew up right outside of LA in Rancho Cucamonga, so I'm a Southern California girl. I feel like people always think I'm from the East Coast or something, but you know, I was born and raised in California, went to school in Arizona, and then moved back to California. So we're in Santa Monica where it all got started. At the time, you know, I wasn't making a lot of money. So every day I would park right here in this structure, and I honestly couldn't afford to pay $14. It's probably like $20 now. So what I would do is when I would exit, I'd follow the person in front of me out. So as soon as that little arm went up, I would just bum rush them and follow them out. I worked at Nordstrom in Santa Monica for about 3 years. So this was my home. This is pretty much where it got started. Working at MAC and working on so many different faces every day, it taught me how to do makeup. You know, I basically came to work and I would practice for 8 hours. My job was me practicing on faces all day. You know, of course I had to sell them product, but I really improved my craft by working at MAC. So you know what's crazy? When I used to work at MAC, we weren't allowed to take tips. And so when people would offer me tips, I would tell them, I'm like, you know what? I can't take tips, but if you want, you can just throw it in my brush belt. And it was like, the reason I was so, I guess, adamant about them, oh, just put it in my brush belt, is because I needed the money. All right, let me show you guys where I used to live. Don't laugh, okay? Because it was kind of in the hood. Well, when I first moved to California, I lived in 3 different places and I always had roommates. My roommate, before I moved to my studio bedroom apartment, actually kicked me out. She was a little bitch. So I had to find a place and I was like, I can't do roommates anymore. So this was pretty much all I could afford. So this was my studio bedroom apartment, you know. It has to be like 400 square feet. So when I was living here, it wasn't even like a budget. It was just like I had no money, you know. I feel like when you budget out, it's like, okay, I have this amount of money. At that time, it was just like, okay, I can afford to buy chicken and corn, and that would be my lunch and dinner and sometimes breakfast every day. I remember dropping my lip liner on the floor and it just rolled down. The struggle was real, you guys, like it really was. So when I was sitting in my studio bedroom apartment crying, and it wasn't just like one time, it was I feel like over a few months where I would just have a breakdown and I would just cry and cry and cry because, you know, I knew I was at rock bottom. And at that point, it's like you kind of have to realize like, wow, I'm gonna look back at this moment and I'm just gonna really appreciate it because I'm gonna see how far I've come. And also, like, you just know, like, once you're in that space where it's like you can't go any deeper, you know you're just gonna rise. So the moment I quit MAC and I knew that whatever work I did, that's how I was gonna get my income, that's when you start working harder. You know, when you're not relying on a steady paycheck, it's like you're gonna take every job, you're gonna work as hard as you can. And maybe that is my wow moment when I quit my job and I was like, okay, I have to work for every penny that I get. I have to put in the work. No one else is gonna do it for me. I don't clock in, I can't really work and then just be like, oh, whatever. Like when I worked at Nordstrom, I literally would just be like, I'd clock in and I'd be like, I really don't have to do much, you know? And now it's like you have to work. Shortly after that moment, maybe 6 months to a year, I moved into a high rise and honestly, I can't even believe it. Like sometimes I'm like, I really went from a crooked floor, studio bedroom apartment, no air conditioning, roaches, to a high-rise apartment that I love. I had roaches. Like I really did. It was bad. and flies. Shoot, it was a hot mess. Okay. I honestly am so lucky because I hear so many crazy stories, but my family was so supportive. They always encouraged me and they always told me they were super proud of me, even if it was being a makeup artist. I feel like no matter what career path I would have taken, they would have supported it. And I'm so grateful for that because I can't even imagine like my mom and my dad being like, you need to do something else other than what I love, you know? You know, Instagram really did change my life. I don't even know where I'd be if, well actually, let me say this. If Instagram wasn't around, I'd still be in the same place, but it probably would have took maybe like 10 years to get there. But when it comes to Instagram, I was so determined to get freelance work that I posted every day. And then every day turned into twice a day to 3 times a day. The key is you have to be consistent. My advice to makeup artists or even beauty bloggers is to be consistent. I have friends in the makeup industry, and when I tell you they work hard, you guys, if you're not tired every day, if you're not like, oh my God, I don't know how much longer I can take, you're not working hard enough. So you have to be consistent, you have to be determined, and you have to be a hard worker. You guys need to follow Titus. His Instagram is King Titus the Frenchie. He thinks he's popping, you guys. Huh. People send him, oh my gosh, someone sent him a water filter. Okay, so he drinks filtered water. I know, it's so bougie, right? People send him treats all the time. He's just spoiled, really. So this is my palette. I just recently collaborated with TARTE Cosmetics to create a contour kit. I just can't, it's almost like I can't even believe I have a product that has my face on it, has my name on it, has my signature. Like there was one point where I couldn't even afford to buy eyeshadow, let alone a palette, you know? Look, it says Titus approved at the corner. My goal for this year is to really work on my YouTube. Like you guys have been asking me to do YouTube for such a long time and I'm finally back. And so I just want to be consistent. Consistency's key. Build my YouTube, and then, you know, in the near future, I want to do makeup seminars. I want to really just get to know you guys. You know, like you guys have done so much for me, and I just want to be able to give back to you.